quick recap on Flash stuff. Flash, new document. This is called the stage. Over here are your tools, very important. V is your most important tool. N is drawing lines. Lines can snap to each other. Tapping V, then left dragging around a corner where the cursor is an angle lets you move a point. Moving around a line so the cursor is a curve lets you change the bend of a line. You can repeat this procedure and make lots of shapes. You can draw a line through other shapes, and now they're split, and you can make different shapes. You can left-click a single line and delete it. You can double left-click a whole bunch of lines to delete the connected portions. Fills are treated differently than lines in Flash. Lines use the ink bottle tool, and they use the line styles, not the fill styles. So if you select any line or combination of lines, you can go in the properties. Properties can be accessed by Window Properties, which allows you to then select a hairline or other types of styles for that particular line. Lines are the least efficient element to draw in Flash, but can offer pretty good graphic advantage. Hairline is the only type of line in Flash that does not change with zooming resolution. If I zoom in on a line that isn't a hairline, then it will be solid. If it is a hairline, it will always be 1 pixel thick no matter how far away or how close I am to it. Fills are treated very differently in Flash. If you have a fill color, which is going to be blue in this case, you can use the brush to draw an area, anything you like, which will destroy everything underneath it. So now you've drawn a fill. Whoop-de-doo. You've killed all your lines by doing that. Don't forget you can undo. Undo before you make too many mistakes in a row. If you wanted to fill in this region, you could use N to draw a line between the fills, left drag tapping V to connect, use your fill bucket, which is K. You can fill areas that are closed off by the lines and then delete the lines. For example, you can draw faces, of anything you want. Lines will also snap together once you've given them curvature. If you've made 2 lines curvature and you grab the point between them, it will eventually become a large circle, which means they can snap together. Once they've snapped together, they'll form a continuous curve that you can use as a spline. Splines are useful for making just about everything. If you don't have enough detail in a spline, one of the quickest ways to add detail into a spline is to left drag over the area that you want the detail with the V tool. Then you will have additional curve detail that you can play with. This is a very simple procedure. To reverse the procedure, left drag using the V tool, delete the area, and reconnect the lines. This is how you can make every single shape in Flash, generally. You have to be careful that you connect the lines because it's possible to make lines close that appear connected, but they are not connected. For example, in this case, I can't fill this triangle because those lines are not touching. To check this, you can click one of the lines. If they aren't broken, then they aren't connected. If this line were connected, then it would be broken there at that point where they intersect. Don't forget, in Flash you can use layers. Layers can be accessed to this annoying little button. You can make more layers. You can draw things on layers that won't interfere with each other on other layers. Treat them like you would in any Photoshop type program. You can left drag layers to move them up and down. This is the timeline. You can press F5 or Shift F5 to add and remove frames. You can select ranges of frames and move them around, which causes keyframe generation. Keyframes are the little frames with the circles in them. If they're a solid circle, there's data there. If there's an empty circle, there's no data there. If you have actions, you can right-click a keyframe and go to Actions. This Actions panel allows you to put code inside of the Flash frame. You'll see a little A on every frame that has code in it. Sometimes when you're working in Flash, the timeline's too large, and you want to make sure that these layers are smaller. There's a little button here in the upper right corner. If you click this little button in the upper right corner, you can set this to short. Short is an easier way to see layers inside of Flash. Making animations depends on the type of animation you want to make. If you want to make a motion tween animation, such as a car rolling or a wheel, we should first draw a wheel of some kind. This is a terrible wheel and I hate myself for it, but we have to do something. We've made a wheel, we want to make it a symbol. Now, if you select this thing, you can also right-click Create Motion Tween, and it will generate a symbol in your library. To view your library, go to Window Library. I just did a mistake. Window Library. Yes, where'd you go? Control L is the same thing. You can also use Control L to pop up the library. Yeah. So now you have this tween symbol. Since you've made a motion tween, you can now right-click in a future frame and say Insert Keyframe. This will save the position, rotation, scale, and color, and transform, and everything else. Flash will build the frames between, which is represented by an arrow connecting the 2 keyframes. You can also right-click in between that arrow and insert a keyframe there to alter the properties as well. This is a motion tween animation. The data for the shape is not being altered, only the displayed position, rotation, scale, and other transform information. You can also use this to color certain clips if you want, with tint and other effects. Now, a motion tween animation is more common and more efficient to use in a Flash animation. You can also use a shape tween, which is you take any shape, and now you left-click the frame and select the tween under Properties to Shape. A shape tween is very different. They don't behave the same way in Flash, and you can basically morph them into any shape you want. Note what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this and just put a square here. I'm going to double left-click the outside edge and delete the lines. Flash will attempt to blend those two shapes together. You can see that there's an awful lot of problems with doing this, but this is how you get a more smooth animation for some things. Now, if you were trying to mix fill colors and styles, Flash would probably freak out. For example, if I put a dark blue blob in the middle, it's going to go all crazy. You don't want that. Also, using the ink bottle, and I can fill a fill with a line style. So I can select a solid 3 pixel, 6 in this case, wide line. Line styles have to be consistent in shape tweens. They won't blend between two. For example, if I selected this part and set this part to dashed, if I try and blend the two, it immediately sets the entire shape to a single line style. Therefore, you cannot mix multiple line styles in a shape tween. This is a problem. You'll have to get around this with additional layers and masking abilities. So there's motion tweening, basic drawing, and connecting things together in Flash. Now, using symbols is a little bit more intuitive because you're able to draw things like boxes. You can select this and create Convert to Symbol. Right-click Convert to Symbol, set it as a movie clip, and call this train. I don't know why. There's now a train symbol in my movie. This works just like a shape, and I can use motion tweening with it. However, this is a movie clip. A movie clip has its own timeline. I can make more stuff in this do things, and I can add wheels that rotate separately of the train itself, which is kind of cool. Create motion tween, convert to symbol, wheel. So now I have a wheel instance of a movie clip wheel. I can drag another wheel instance onto a layer. Note that if you're making a motion tween, you have to have one symbol per layer to effectively motion tween. If you were to put two symbols on one layer and then try and motion tween them, Flash would create a new symbol and blend them together, as example. Say I wanted to have two wheels and I wanted them to both move. If I accidentally had them on the same layer and was like, let's make a motion tween, it grouped them together into a new symbol. You don't want this. So on your train clip, you have to have one wheel per layer, as you can see here. One wheel per layer. On layers, you can turn on visibility by clicking the eye and locking on clicking that, so that you can only edit the things that aren't locked. This is how you can build animations. I don't know why I'm doing an animation of this, but sure. Wheels moving. So there you go. Now, you'll notice up here it says that I'm on scene and then train. If I double-click one of these wheels, I'm now scene, train, wheel. You can actually move up and down the hierarchy this way and edit things as needed. This is pretty useful, especially when building monsters, as shown in the previous videos. And basically combining all those techniques is what will allow you to do anything you want. Flash has a couple of interesting limits. One, it cannot handle an area larger than 2,880 pixels is the maximum thing it can handle. You'd have to write a lot of special code to avoid this limit. You're not going to get any larger than that. 20,880. That's it. That's all you get. Another interesting limit is Flash is not an infinite resolution system. In fact, on the contrary, it actually only has an accuracy of 1/20th of a pixel, which means if I draw this convenient aqua circle and then I delete that ugly line on it, I'm going to kill that forever. And I start zooming in, and I draw another circle that's red, and I zoom in, and I draw another circle. I can't zoom in any farther. That's as good as it gets. Flash won't let you get any higher resolution than that. Which means if you're making a character, you have to be careful about what scale you're making it at, because at some point it becomes infeasible to add small details. This is something you'll have to do yourself. So pay attention to where your zoom is. Other than that, I think we should kill the stream and go to the next one. Any questions? That's not a question. I'm gonna make you all boorish now.